On the road, set. Woo. All right, what's going on, world? GTP here. Welcome back to another Project 48 video. So this one's gonna be just kind of like a round reflection video, a GTP round reflection video of my breaking 90 round. If you haven't seen that video yet, it was a video I posted last week. I think it's gonna, I'll put it up here or it's up here. I am using my iPhone to record this, and so I'm using the front facing. It's inverted, so I could be wrong, could be there, could be here, whichever side I'll put it up. But if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's my first time breaking 90 after so long, after trying for so long, and so it was kind of nice to see the potential is there. You know, that it can happen. I can play decent golf and score decently well. But yeah, I am using my iPhone. I'll just get this out the way, using my iPhone because my camera's in the other room, and I didn't want to get up and disturb this guy because he yeah, we kind of had a late night last night. We us three, me, Alexa, and Archie, we were watching some K-dramas last night, and we fell asleep. We all fell asleep after dinner. We were watching it, and then yeah, we just knocked out on the couch, and we were supposed to give him a bath shortly after dinner, after we all ate, and yeah, we all fell asleep. And so we woke up like at about 1:30, and we decided it's, you know, we have to give him a bath. We've been kind of putting it off for a little bit, and so we just had to do it. And so this guy is tired, late night for him. I'm tired, late night for me. Alexa's tired, late night for her, but she's in the office, so she got the short end of the stick. But I know she is doing well, or she is fighting hard there. So, but yeah. Anyways, this one's gonna be just a round reflection video. I just wanted to talk about the round itself. I'm still very proud of myself for getting to that point. It's kind of nice to see, you know, the potential is there for me to play decent golf, to play decently well. Yeah, but I'm kind of still, to be honest, like a little bewildered at how it happened. I know it's just the work showing up, all the work I put in just showing up. So it's been about a month since that round, and I've played a few rounds already since then, and let's just say I've been brought back down to earth already. Yeah, I've been brought back down to earth from that high, and now it's time to really hit the ground running to see if I can keep this train rolling and continue playing well. Yeah, I want to talk about a few things, but I'll get to that after. We did get an espresso maker recently. We've kind of been enjoying it. I've been enjoying that. Me being a coffee nerd, I've been enjoying it. So gonna make some of that, and then we'll get to the garage for some swinging and talking about the round. So I don't know when this is gonna happen, because after this clip ends, I gotta lock in for a minute. I feed him, I'll make the coffee, then I gotta go in the garage. So it might be like lunchtime-ish. I don't know. But when I get back to you, we'll start talking.
Many months later.
All right, guys, so got you guys on the camera now. Let's go make some coffee. Gonna need it, and then I'm just gonna brainstorm about some of the things that I want to talk about. But first, espresso time. Espresso time. Espresso time. Espresso time. Espresso time. Cool. Whoa. That's kind of cool shot though right there. All right, so everything's kind of just warming up now. The water, already got my coffee ground. Got to clean up a little bit, and then we're gonna make some coffee. So I just kind of want to brainstorm about some of the things that I want to talk about in this round reflection. And I'm using my good old golf pen. I think that's probably about 7-iron. I don't want to talk too much. I know I can get to yapping a lot. The only things I kind of want to talk about are, let's go, expectations. And then I do want to talk about, you know, that would kind of be a good segue into the front nine. So going into that, the third topic I want to kind of talk about, we'll talk about mindset. Then we'll talk about the back nine. And then for the fifth, I just want to talk about some takeaways. From the round. Yeah, so let's get, this is what we're going to talk about: expectations, front nine, my mindset, back nine, and then just some takeaways after after that round. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm debating if I want to make an Americano, just have the espresso, or if I want to try and make myself like a nice latte. I'm more of a black coffee guy. Like that's how I prefer to drink coffee. But now that we have this, I can steam milk properly. I did buy a milk coffee jug. It's called a milk frothing jug. So all right. So again, let's make some coffee. Roll that coffee B-roll. Kind of messy still. To be honest, it looked like I knew what I was doing, right? I have no idea. I'm still learning. And we need proper cups for freaking lattes. I'm gonna clean up and then we'll head out to the garage. Does that work? Oh. Oh. All right. Oh. Alrighty, tidy. Got my coffee here, my just milk and espresso shot. I don't know what we could even call it. Got my little talking points and Archie. Yeah, it is what it is. So we're in the grind station now. I just set up my net. I'm sitting on a chair that's on my mat on the floor. Anyways, let's get to talking. Okay, so first things first is expectations. Heading into this round was actually a kind of interesting. I'll just say I had no expectations of playing as well as I did, at least as far as the back nine goes. If anything, I was expecting more of how the front nine went, but I had no expectations of scoring well. I had no expectations of hitting fairways, hitting greens and regs, you know, catching birdies. The only expectations that I had was I really just wanted to get out on the course, and I really just wanted to just have fun with my cousins, my friends, and my uncles that were there. So that was honestly a fun round. The reason I say that I did not have any expectations was because my car, you know, has been out of commission, or had been out of commission for pretty much the better part of the year. And so she was sitting outside for, you know, pretty much the year, and then I had to move her to the garage because I got a warning sticker on there saying I had to move it, otherwise it would get towed. So something like that, like it just can't be sitting there, whatever, right? And so I moved it into the garage, and she was sitting in here for a good amount of time, maybe like a week or two at that point. Because something was wrong with her. Yeah, so she was sitting here, so I couldn't set up this grind station and grind in the garage. I couldn't do what I normally do. And so that's kind of what set, you know, no expectations. Another thing that kind of along the similar lines was, even though I'm able to like use Alexa's car, and I didn't want to use her car for my needs, you know, for my wants, to just go to the range whenever I wanted, whenever I felt like it. You know, I always went whenever, you know, she had plans, like if I had to drop her off, and then it's like, okay, well I can, you know, I'll drop you off and then I'll pick you up later, but in the meantime, I'll take your car and I'll go to the range. I didn't get to hit the range up at that time. I don't think I did, at least. And so I was very limited in practice. Anything that I did was just in the house. So like putting, as far as swings go, I didn't take any swings. I just did my swing drills. I did my swing feels inside the house, but that was about it. And honestly, that for me is not enough to have me feeling confident heading into the round. So yeah, so like I said, my expectations, I wouldn't say they were low in a bad way. It's just I just knew where my game was at that point, and I didn't want to set high expectations for myself only to not meet it, just because I wasn't able to, have my normal routine as far as practicing and grinding goes. Went into the round with no expectations, which I think helped set me up for a little point that I'm going to talk about mindset. And so another thing I'm going to add about having no expectations and not really expecting to play well is, one, I realized I didn't have my sand wedge the night before, and two, after hitting the tee shot off the first hole, I realized my rangefinder was gone. So obviously right then and there, I'm like absolutely rattled. Sand wedge is my trusty wedge. And two, my rangefinder, since I wasn't wearing a watch at the time, I do have a, spoiler alert, I do have a new Garmin S70. Yeah, so I didn't have my old Garmin on, so no rangefinder. And so I was really just rattled about how I'm gonna figure out my distances. And so that was definitely some kind of pressure that I didn't need. So let's move on to, now the second talking point I wanna make is the front nine. So yeah, so with the front nine, that was probably where I was expecting my game to be. I did hit a lot of pretty decent shots. I did hit a lot of pretty decent holes. There were some holes where I scored well on. There was the drive on hole one, that was pretty good, right down the mid ski with the draw ski. On the second hole, there was the birdie. I walked off with a birdie on that, so that was pretty good. Hole four, which is that par 5 with the water. I really impressed myself on how I played that hole. The tee shot in the fairway, laid up, and then gave myself about, I think 100 or so, yeah, I think about 100 or so yards over the water onto the green, got on the green, and then walked off with a bogey. The next hole after that, the par 4 with the creek, had that big right to left drifter of a putt that landed just shy of the hull, so walked off with bogey on that, so that was awesome. Yeah, everything else after that, it kind of started to fall apart. I did have that flare out right on one of the holes where I biffed the first punch shot, the second punch shot, and then the 9-iron I took after that was fine, got on the green, and then I think it was a 4-putt or something, that was terrible. Yeah, and then just a flare out right, I think on hole 9. Yeah, the flare out right where I ended up in the hazard, and then just took lateral relief from there. So that was typical front nine for me. That was more of what I was expecting to play. That was more of the round I was expecting to have. Even though I wasn't playing well, I was still having a good time. I was with my cousin Marco, our boy Paul, and then our boy Janelle. So it was a good group. It was a very fun group all around. And it really helped to keep the pressure low. It really helped to keep the expectations low. It really helped to keep the mindset like very easy going. Like I wasn't too hard on myself. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And so I guess talking about mindset and stuff, it's gonna lead to the third talking point of mindset. So let's do that. So for mindset, I'm really big into mental health as overall, like outside of golf, but especially inside of golf, because I think it was something that, going back in time for me, it was something that I really kind of, I don't want to say I was really hard on myself whenever I didn't play well. There's just, I started reading some books. I started like listening to quotes and all that, of all these wise golf people. And, like they say, have a goldfish mentality, hit your next shot. If it's bad, you can be mad at it, but just don't dwell on it. Just forget about it and move on to the next shot. I think there's even a Tiger Woods quote about the most important shot is the next shot. In between shots, like take yourself away, like enjoy the music you're listening to and enjoy the laughs with the golf, with the partners that you have. And so that's what I did, with the group that I had, it was just very lighthearted, and I was able to keep myself present. That's another thing. Keep myself present in the moment. Like hit a bad shot, and then just like let it go. Goldfish mentality, let it go. And then in between walks, since me and my boy Janelle were walking, we'd walk together for most of the in between shots, and it was just like we would just catch up, we would just talk, and then I'd get to my ball and I'm in golf mode. Whatever, right? And that's just the rinse and repeat process of it, that really kind of helps me on the course, I think that's part of me maturing in golf, is not really taking myself too hard, and just accepting the skill and the ability that show up that day. I really just kept myself to the mindset of just having fun, you know. And there's another, you know, like sticking to the process, like trust the process. I said earlier that I wasn't making any swing changes or fixes. I was just sticking to my process the entire round, whether it's my swing with my drives, my irons, or with putts, you know. I just stuck to what I normally do. I wasn't trying to do anything different. And I think that was pretty big, and I think that was pretty key for me throughout the entire round, especially leading into the back nine. So now the back nine. Again, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It was the previous video before this one. It was a previous video before this one. I'll spoil it. I shot a 2 over par. And for me, that is absolutely diabolical in a good way. The best 9 I've ever had before this was, I think, a 42 at Cherry Island. And that felt very similar to how this 38, this 2 over par felt at Alistair. And Alistair is a pretty tough course. And so it felt pretty good to shoot 2 over par on that back nine. And, you know, to this day, I still don't know how that happened. If anything, the only things I could say about how that happened is, so everything I've spoken about up to this point, I think really just accumulated. And I guess even all the work that I've put in over time had showed up to this 2 hours of my time of playing golf showed up in just those 9 holes. The biggest things that I can say about the back nine is I kept the ball in front of me, even if it flared out or even if it was a miss, even if it was left to right, even if there was that dispersion, it did stay in front of me for the most part, which is very huge in golf. And so that's what I did. I had a few birdie looks, that long par 3, and then I think the 17th hole maybe. So I had a few birdie looks there, which would have been awesome to make. And even the bogeys that I made felt decent, you know, played them well. I just felt like I played smart golf. Like I said earlier, I didn't do anything that I knew I wasn't capable of doing. I kept myself in the present and didn't really dwell on anything bad that happened. And I gotta say, nothing bad really happened on the back nine. And so yeah, the biggest thing was just I was able to keep the ball in front of me, which was awesome. I had a lot of good tee shots. I recovered well. You know, even like on the par 5s, the second shots in, just taking 4 hybrid and just scooching it up there and then getting on the green after that was solid. And putting was absolutely monumental for me. I remember thinking, I think it was probably about hole when I hit my first bogey, and I was like, holy crap, that was my first bogey of this back. And then I bogeyed the par 3 after that, and I was like, okay, we have 2 more holes left. We absolutely cannot butcher this. But I didn't get myself too worked up. I just knew those were the first 2 bogeys. You know, like I had pars and bogeys, but I didn't know the actual number. I'm very big on not knowing the score, especially if I'm playing well, just to not have that kind of pressure. It was just cool to have that feeling knowing that I was playing well, but I also kept myself in the present. I wasn't getting ahead of myself. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like at the end of this round, this could be a breaking 90 round. I gotta say, it was in my head, but I wasn't internalizing it. I was just like, it was just in there as an idea. But I didn't like take it in and hold it close to my heart. I just remember the approach shot on the 18th was probably the biggest moment for me where I was like, okay, something is gonna happen here, because I hit it, and honestly, I didn't hit that well. I went a little steep on it. I didn't mean to go steep on it, but I think it worked out for me because it faded right to just right of the hole. It hit the green and bounced left towards the flag. So that was absolutely key. When I saw the kick, I knew I had a chance at something big for the GTP program. Yeah, and then I remember walking up to it and just seeing where it was and just how every other putt from that distance on the rest of that back nine felt. I was feeling pretty confident that I could make that birdie, and if not, I'd be happy with the walk-off par. That's what happened. And then I remember walking back to the camera and just being a little jittery because I knew at that point it was a 2 over par back nine. And so that was the back nine. That was absolutely big for me, and I can't wait to have that feeling again on the course. So I'm yapping on enough, so let's go on to takeaways and we'll just end this video. Okay, so final thoughts, just takeaways. Still very speechless about it. Front nine was normal for me, and then solid back nine. I was very impressed at how I played. The only takeaway that I had was gimme putts. We did have the pressure of pace of play, which was kind of funny because the marshal came up to us a couple times and told us to speed up. Not because we were playing slow, we were actually very on pace for our round, but to put pressure on the group in front of us who was playing slow, which was kind of an odd ask. Normally, when we do get pressured by marshals to play faster, to speed up play, I start to feel rushed. And that for me in the very early on stages was a big issue. Like I would get tense, I wouldn't think about my shot, I would just hit it just to get moving. And obviously that's gonna add up strokes and cause bad play and all that. Having the marshal tell us to speed up and me just like, okay, cool, yeah, we'll speed up, right? Not really thinking, being bothered too much by it was huge for me too. So, yeah, so the gimme putts, back to it, Tracy Pruitt. There were a few gimmies on the back nine that I feel like I wish I could hit it into the cup. I think it was hole 13, I think it was 13. The one where we all gave ourselves good goods. I was kind of iffy on it. I remember like walking off that green and just in the back of my head thinking like, damn, I wish I put that out. And then there was that other hole where I had a pretty similar distance putt and it was fairly straight and I made it. And so that kind of eased some of the worry that, you know, I would have made that putt easily. I don't really take gimmies because I do like the reps. I do like getting those putting reps of on the course, short putts, you know, 3 feet, right? I don't want that to be a guaranteed putt for me because I've missed those before. I've missed those short putts, and so I want to just have the ball in the cup on those putts. So this might be me being hard on myself. That's just what I want. I just need to know that that stroke was what it was. I think that's the only other takeaway was just the gimmies. But I'm not gonna let that spoil the fact that I did break 90. It's been a long time coming, and I was very excited to have it finally happen. And so yeah, I can't wait for it to happen again. I cannot. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys for listening to this GTP round review. I absolutely like doing this because I like thinking about what went well, learning from what didn't go well. And so I kind of like these little sit down chats. Yeah, if you made it this far, comment GTPRR. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the entire video. And again, if you haven't watched the Breaking 90 video, definitely go back and check it out. That was a fun one. Follow all my socials here. TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I'm gonna start putting Threads in there. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate any of those 3. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I think I don't have anything else to say, but get 1% better every single day, baby. Breaking 90, we did it. We absolutely did it. Now if only I can do it again. Peace.